I'm going to rank all the neutral creatures of Heroes of Might and Magic 5.5. I'm going to rank them in tier list according more or less to their power and also how cool they are. But before I do that, I want to say a few words about the tier list. First of all, if you have only played the original version of the game with all the DLC and stuff, and you haven't played the mod, I would suggest trying out the mod. It's pretty good. And the mod adds some new creatures, and it changes and rebalances the stats of the existing creatures and changes their abilities a little bit. So if you see some differences from what you are used to, then yeah, keeping that in mind. Another thing is that I am playing a very old version of the mod. I'm playing RC15, which is like over 2 years old at the moment of recording. And the newest version is RC18, which was released in 2024 March, I believe. And when I'm ranking these creatures, I'll be looking at their stats in the version that I am playing. I have also looked at the user manual for the latest version. If you don't know, then you can go to their site of ModDB and you can like download a user guide which includes some information about the game, and I took the stats, the newest stats for the creatures from there. But I'll mostly be using my experience with playing the old version and how the creatures feel. What else? Yeah, one last thing, I haven't played the game for like 2 months or something, so I'm kind of rusty. And if I get things wrong, then let me know. Let's start the list, and first we will look at air elementals, I believe. So on the screen you can see the stats for air elementals. They have 10 attack, 10 defense, 6 to 8 damage, 40 life, 16 initiative, 7 speed, and they have a bunch of abilities. The green ability that is colored in green is something that was added in the latest version, I believe, or maybe the previous one. Anyways, this version that I'm playing didn't have this ability. And air elementals are pretty cool in my opinion. They're like, I believe, either the fastest unit or the second fastest unit in the game. And they are quite hard to go up against, and also good to have in your army if you can like get them. If you're a Fortress player, you can get them from your Mage Guild. If you have some Dragon Blood crystals, then you get some free air elementals every week, which are pretty decent. So let me think. Also, I can explain the abilities of the creature. So elemental means that it is not affected by poison, blind, and mind related magic. It cannot be healed or resurrected with first aid tent. It's also like these abilities are kind of self-explanatory. It can fly over like obstacles, and it's immune to air magic. And the new ability Primordial means that it is immune to chain shot and instantly killing abilities such as Cold Death, Harm Touch, and Vorpal Blade. I don't know what chain shot is. I think it's chain lightning. I'm just reading the text from the manual. And Vorpal Blade is an ability that some creatures have that allows them to kill at least one unit in the stack. So let me think again. Let's for now put them in A tier, and maybe I'll put them in S tier later. Is there a reason not to put them in S tier? You know, I'm feeling generous today. I'll put them in S tier. If we see something better, then we will go. Then we will go like and lower them, or maybe raise them higher. Let's arrange the list. I believe next up will be Earth Elementals. We will go like starting from the lowest tier of the neutral creatures up to the highest tier. So all the elementals are tier 4, apparently. Something like this, I believe. That's how we will go through the list. Next up is Earth Elemental. It has 10 attack and 10 defense, 10 to 14 damage, 60 life, 9 initiative, and 6 speed. And its abilities are similar to the air elemental. What it has different is aura of magic resistance and unlimited retaliations. So if you hit the unit, no matter how many times you hit the unit, it will always retaliate unless the attacking unit has no enemy retaliation ability. So also one thing to mention is on the version that I'm playing, Aura of Magic Resistance gives you 30% chance to avoid harmful spells, but it seems to be nerfed in the latest version to 24% chance. Earth Elementals are kinda shitty. They're tanky, but that's about all they are. I'd rank them in C. Actually, it accidentally fell to D tier, so let's leave them there. I accidentally released my mouse too early, but D is good for them. Next up, we have Water Elementals. They have same attack and defense. They deal 8 to 12 damage. Let me compare to Earth Elementals. A little bit less hard hitting, a little bit less tanky, and a little bit faster. But they don't really have to get next to the enemy because they are casters, and they can cast Ice Bolt and Circle of Winter. They're decent. Actually, if I have to think about it, I think they're a bit more preferable for my playstyle over Air Elementals because you don't really have to get close to the enemy. They don't scale as well with heroes with high attack and high defense. I mean, they're kind of comparable to Air Elementals. But I'm gonna put them in A. And I'm gonna drag down Air Elementals to A as well. The reason for that is the next creature, which is the Fire Elemental. Yeah, and also before I move on to Fire Elemental, one thing is that I have colored things green if the stats have been improved in the latest version of the mod. As you can see, the damage, the base damage of the Water Elementals was buffed a little bit. Yeah, so that's for future. So now next is one of the elementals that in my opinion is the best, which is Fire Elemental. It has the same attack and defense, 9 to 13 damage, 40 life, 11 initiative, 5 speed, and it is a shooter unit, so it is ranged, and it also has immune to fire ability. So when you attack the unit in melee range, the attacker will get 20% of the damage that they dealt back as damage. So it works even if the unit that attacks Fire Elemental has no enemy retaliation ability. And they are, from the elementals, in my opinion, the most annoying to deal with and the best ones to have in your army. It's very, very scalable, very nice to have. So I don't see a reason why I shouldn't put them in S tier. Let's... Oh wow, I accidentally typed something in front of S. I didn't know I could do that. And here you can see how the stats have changed in the latest version of the mod. So it was a little bit nerfed in terms of damage, and it has gotten a little bit of initiative, which I actually think initiative is more useful, so it can be faster than other shooters and shoot at them before they get shot. Next up we have Wolf, which is a really glass cannon-y unit. I can't believe how low its defense is, and overall stats. Technically, it's written as tier 4. It has 5 attack, 3 defense, 3 to 5 damage, 25 life, 13 initiative, and 6 speed. It has the abilities of being living, a pack hunter, and it has also whole ability. So the pack hunter ability means that if there are multiple stacks of wolf near enemy unit when they attack, all the wolf units attack the enemy, if they can do that. And the whole ability summons additional stack of wolves at the beginning of combat, and it disappears after fight, if I'm not mistaken. If it didn't, it would be overpowered. But like wolves are quite hard to deal with in the beginning of the game, but having them in your army is like, they die very easily, and even though they have great damage output, I mean, if we go back and compare to, for example, to Fire Elemental, which technically is the same tier unit, but it has like double the stats, and it can shoot, and it can also have like a fire shield. And even though the wolf can like summon an additional pack, it's not enough even to offset the difference in stats, in my opinion. So it's kind of weak, but it would be interesting to like try out a game where I try to abuse like the pack hunter ability, because it's quite strong. And once again, I accidentally have typed something in front of C. I actually think they're worse than stone elementals. Yeah. Like, they look cool and wolves are cool, but I'm sorry, but you go to D tier. Next unit we have is a neutral creature that Necropolis can get in their magic guilds. Like all of these neutral creatures except for the top of the food chain, Phoenix, can be obtained in your magic guild. If you have some Dragon and Blood crystals, it's a thing that was introduced in the 5.5 mod. Kinda cool in my opinion. So Mummy it is a tier 5 unit. It has 9 attack, 9 defense, 12 to 20 damage, 60 life, 12 initiative, 5 speed, 20 mana. And it is undead unit which can cast Confusion at expert level and Wasp Swarm at basic level. And it also has a Hexing attack ability. Let me read what it does. So when it attacks somebody in melee, it inflicts one of the curses, which are weakness, slow, suffering, and vulnerability. And all these spells are cast in advanced level, and they're chosen in the same order as I read them. And also, one thing I should mention is that its stats have changed in the latest version of the game. You can see that the attack and defense was like improved, but the initiative was nerfed and speed was increased, and mana was heavily nerfed. Which is kind of interesting. So it has been made into more a melee unit instead of a caster, because you can only cast like one spell, I believe, or maybe 2. But right now in the version that I'm playing, it's much more spell-oriented unit, and for that reason I kind of like them. The one thing that's, in my opinion, sucks is that Wasp Swarm doesn't work on undead units, and also I think Mechanical, I might be mistaken, and Elemental. So it's like the spells can be used, but they're similar to many undead units. They can only be used against living units, so it's kind of specialized in that sense. So in some ways, like, the changes have made it stronger, and in some ways they have made it weaker. I think mummies are nice. They are nice, but I would rather have an elemental unit in my army than a mummy. Even though it can like cast spells and like the air elemental. Air elemental is just so fast and just so cool that I have to put Mummy lower than all the elementals. Except for Earth elemental, of course. Next up is Manticore. It is supposed to be a tier 6 neutral creature. It has 15 attack, 15 defense, 23 to 32 damage, 140 life, 9 initiative, 7 speed, and it costs a crystal in additional to 2,500 gold. Its only interesting ability is poisonous attack, and let me read what it does. Basically, it poisons enemy. Each Manticore does like 4 damage for 10 actions. If you compare to Stalker or Assassin from the Dungeon faction, each Assassin and Stalker does 1 damage for the next 3 actions. So the poison of Manticore is 4 times as more powerful and lasts more than 3 times as long as for the Assassin and Stalker. And it's one of the units that has been changed. You can see overall I would say it's buffed. It has like although like the damage nerf is like really big, it's like more than 10 max damage removed. So it deals less damage with its base attack, and but it's a lot tankier and faster. I don't think Manticores are all that great. Like technically they are stronger than many of these units, but because they are tier 6, but they are not easy to use, I would say. Also the character just looks weird. Like it looks like it has a fish mouth. A ginger demon with a fish mouth, which is unique, I would say, but let's put it below Mummy. Next up is a unit which is introduced in the mod, Arcane Eagle. It has 16 attack, 15 defense, 16 to 76 damage, 110 life, 12 initiative, 8 speed, and it has 2 quite notable abilities, which is mana drain, and it is magic proof, or 50% magic proof. And mana drain is an ability where if they attack some unit, they will drain mana and use it to restore its health and resurrect itself. So the ability is quite strong, and let's check. I believe, yeah, it has been buffed to 19 attack and 16 defense. I have really little experience with these units, but I think they are cool. It's not as bulky as Manticore. Like Manticore has much bigger damage output, but Arcane Eagles are faster, and they have this utility of being anti-magic, and they can like resurrect themselves against mages, but they cannot be resurrected using spells because they are elemental. Even though I think they are cool, they look cooler than Manticores, I don't feel like I can rate them much higher than that. Would I rather fight against the Mummy or Arcane Eagle? In most cases I would prefer fighting against Arcane Eagle, so rank it lower than Mummy. Now we have Black Knight, which is another undead unit, but it's neutral. And it has 23 attack, 23 defense, 19 to 29 damage, 140 life, 10 initiative, 8 speed, and it costs 265 gold and 1 mercury. It has 2 notable abilities. One is Vorpal Sword. So whenever Black Knight attacks, it is guaranteed to kill at least 1 enemy unit. So if, for example, it was attacking an angel, even though normally you couldn't kill like an angel because of the stat difference, it will definitely kill at least 1. Another ability it has is Frightful Aura, so all enemies adjacent to Black Knight will have 3 less morale, which is pretty interesting and cool ability in my opinion. But it's very situational. I would rank Black Knights for some reason. I feel like ranking them quite high. I don't know, they're just cool. I think Vorpal's Sword is a strong ability, so I'll rank them in low A tier. They're quite stronger than the Manticore in one-on-one fight. And also Arcane Eagle. The only change that they have made to Black Knights is that they have made them more expensive. And the last one is Phoenix, a neutral tier 7 unit. It has 33 attack, 33 defense, 35 65 damage, 190 health, 15 initiative, and 9 speed. It has some notable abilities such as Fire Shield, immunity to fire, and most of all rebirth. So if a stack of phoenixes is killed, then they will be revived once per combat, and the killed units remain like in your army after like end of combat, if I'm not mistaken. So they're real pain to go up against, and they're real nice to have in your army because they're really strong. So I would put them in S tier. I don't see a reason to put them in SS tier. Yeah, I'm not feeling that generous today. That's it, thanks for watching. You know what, I changed my mind, I'll put them in SS tier. Not because I like having them in my army, but because they're really like tough to go against. They're like one of the worst units to fight against.